Yo, what's going on, y'all? This is Marcus Rosa, aka Mazuma TV, back at y'all with some more boxing talk, man. I hope everybody's having a blessed, beautiful, positive, productive night. I hope you had a great day overall, man. I'm back at y'all with some more boxing talk, man. We're gonna speak about Floyd Schofield, Kid Austin, pulling out yet again in another fight against Joseph Diaz. Speaking on, it being a hand injury and things of that nature. Floyd Schofield Sr., Auntie Sco, whatever you want to call him, was the one that confirmed that he was the one who pulled his son out, even though his son didn't want to. Was it a smart move or was it a scary move? Or maybe it was both. We definitely going to talk about that. Then after that, of course, we're going to get into some open boxing topics. You feel what I'm saying? But before we get into that, if y'all could please hit the like button on the way in, that'd be very much appreciated. We on the road to 4K. We well into the 3,200 mark. About to hit that 3,300 mark in due time. Shout out to the nation and the mob for making this possible. Shout out to the few people that's already in the chat. Shout out to the boy Southwest Dice. He said, salute. 4th, 5th time, he ain't trying to have a baby. LMAO. Shout out to my boy Southwest Dice. What's going on? What's going on? R3, what up? G Tatted Up TV, what up, brother? How you doing? Baboon Balloon is in the building. He said, now that Floyd Schofield, Matias, and Better aren't fighting, my payout took a hit. Tom Aspinall, no contest, also doesn't help. Oh, okay. You must be talking about some type of gambling. I don't know what you're talking about, brother. But Matias not fighting? Could have sworn he was fighting Dalton Smith. Did something change that went under the radar that I don't know about? Gotta let me know. What's going on? What's going on? Well, it don't look like he got anything on box rec yet, so I guess it's up in the air as of right now. 22-leg parlay is fucking insane. Shout out to Baboon Balloon. That boy crazy. J Cash, what up? Coffee Plant, what up? He said Holyfield Jr. pulled out. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. They pulled out of that JoJo Diaz fight. I mean, we didn't really want to see that fight anyway, to be real with you. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not a fight that we wanted to see. But, he pulled out of that. And he cited a hand injury. You know what I mean? They showed the hand, all that good stuff. So, that's the reality of the situation right now. I actually want to pull that interview up, if y'all don't mind. And I want to give you guys my reaction of what, the Schofields are saying. You see what I mean? Is it? Is this it right here? No, it's not. All right, shout out to Fight Hype for this interview. We're going to get straight to it, by the way. You know what I mean? As y'all come in, if y'all could please hit the likes. Let's get the algorithm on the up so that people know Mazuma TV is live. You see what I'm saying? Let me go ahead and see where the likes is at. Let's see where the likes is at. We got 4 likes. Let's get them up, y'all. Let's get them up. And, of course, we turn this on to subscriber-only mode. If you're not subscribed, why would we care to hear your opinion? Y'all go ahead and subscribe to the channel and contribute to the conversation as always. You know what I mean? We're about to get into these discussions, man. Let me go ahead and share the screen for the people to see. We sharing the screen, man. Shout out to Fight Hype for being very timely with this interview. They jumped right on and they was able to get the interview. And I could appreciate the Schofield's transparency because a lot of these dudes be pulling out with injuries and don't even be trying to show any type of definitive proof. You know what I mean? So, yeah. But we're gonna hear the extent of these injuries and assess whether we feel like he should have fought still or not. You feel what I mean? Let me see. Let me share the screen. This is the interview right here. Shout out to Fight Hype for conducting this interview yet again. Let me see what people saying in the chat. Mr. Big Play Bray, what up? He said Schofield always have an excuse about something. Definitely. The father definitely be lacking accountability. He try to cover shit up. Like he try to spin things a certain way when it really just be like you be talking about, oh, your son. Oh, my son's gonna be the greatest of all time, and he be talking crazy shit, call people bitches, and you know what I mean, acting like his son is the standard And this shit just be hilarious, bro. And when I hear the son talk, he actually a cool little young boy. You know what I mean? Definitely a cool young boy. But I don't know, man. The dad, he's just super weird. Look how the way he's sitting in that chair too. Nigga, like you pulled out, didn't you? I had to pull him out. He just his hand, his hands is his money makers. Mm-hmm. He's sitting in that chair like, mm-hmm. Yeah, this nigga right here, boy. R3 said, "Do I know how bad the injury is?" We gonna let them tell it. We gonna let them tell it. I ain't gotta tell you. The interview gonna tell you everything you need to know, and I'm gonna be giving you guys my reaction as it goes on. You feel what I mean? Let me go ahead, full screen. Let's turn this volume on and let's get to it, man. Shout out to everybody that's in the building. Shout out to the 16 people. Mr. Big Play Break, before we get into that, he has a question. He says, if a fighter pulls out of the fight, what happens? Do the other fighter, do they get paid? No. Unfortunately not. From what I heard, Edwin De Los Santos got paid with Keyshawn, but that was because, you know what I mean, he made the weight. You know what I mean? They got to the weigh-in. You feel what I mean? So that's, that may be the exception. But, like, yeah, like if you could be in the heart of training camp and somebody pull out and you don't get paid because, I mean, you ain't make it to the scale. You ain't make it to the ring. So why would they compensate you? It sucks, but, that does happen. That does happen. So unfortunately not. But from what I heard, JoJo Diaz, I'm gonna let them say it. Let's get into it. Agent 86, what up? Let's get into the video.
Fight Hype here with Floyd Schofield and his father, Senior. Obviously, I'm hitting you guys up because I saw the news that you just recently put out there. Suffered a hand injury, got to pull out of the fight. Let's just jump right into it. What exactly happened? I mean, obviously, I assume something happened in training while you were preparing for the fight, right?
Yeah, I was sparring. I don't know if my dad posted the video yet, but I had threw an uppercut, and when I threw the uppercut, I kind of had my hand in the wrong, kind of like the wrong, what do you call it?
Position.
Was it the wrong position, and it kind of just bent backwards. And then after, I shook my hand, but I did like 5 more rounds after that. Then I got in the bag. So the doctor told me that it was probably just you added more damage on than you should have. So, and I was trying to kill I be trying to kill my sparring partners too sometimes. I know it's not, but I'm preparing for a fight, and I was just throwing out with all power since it was like my last sparring session, and yeah, it hurt my hand.
Yeah.
So he was sparring. He threw an uppercut. Didn't place the uppercut correctly, and as a result, his hand had bent back. And, that happens. You know what I mean? I've seen that happen. I've seen people blow out their shoulders in sparring sessions. I've seen them hurt their wrists, their hand, their knuckles, their fingers, their thumbs. You know what I mean? Like, I done seen it all in these sparring sessions. So I'm not saying that they lying for that happening because I've seen it happen on multiple occasions. But it's like I'm questioning already. I'm questioning the extent of the injury already because if you listen to this man talk, he said that he felt, you know what I mean? Like his wrist bent back, his hand bent back, whatever the case is, and he did an additional 5 rounds. So, it's coming off as minor. Because y'all remember when y'all seen that sparring session of Shakur Stevenson? Like he hit bull with like a soft body shot and he fell to the ground. Nigga was like rolling around with his hand and shit. And they stopped the sparring session right there. You feel what I mean? That's what lets me know that's a severe like injury or a serious injury when, you know what I mean, they can no longer continue. The fact that you hurt your hand, but you continue to do an additional 5 rounds after the fact, lets me know that it's not that serious of an injury, in my opinion. And then he said he went on to hit the bag after the fact. The doctor said that, him doing extra work with it might have increased the damage. That's possible, but at the same time, it's like, how bad is it really? Because, in these training camps, these guys, they never go into the ring 100%. Y'all know this by now. You know what I'm saying? You're always going to have a little nagging injury. Your knee might be tweaking, your elbow, your shoulder. You know what I'm saying? You might have some type of, hamstring situation, calf muscle messed up. You know what I mean? You might have a fucked up toe. Like there's things that goes on. You know what I'm saying? Nobody goes into the ring 100%. You feel what I mean? But it's making me question how bad the injury really was, considering the fact that he was able to do 5 rounds when he first felt the pain and then went to do bag work after the fact. So it's interesting. Yeah, Sarah Ali, bro, that's what they saying. They saying he injured. He pulled out of the JoJo Diaz fight, man. That's what they saying.
No, I mean, look, stuff happens while you're training. I know fighters usually go into fights. I mean, I know everyone says, you know, I'm 100%, but I know you guys go into fights with injuries, dings, and this, that, and the other. When the injury happened, did you know right away this is going to be a problem? I mean, like you said, you went on another 5 rounds, or was it just something where you were like, that hurts a little bit. Maybe we should go get it checked out?
I think it was more so when I was sparring. I was like, okay, like how you can get tennis elbow from extending your elbow. I just probably like, it was something I just got to put ice on. Then that night and in the morning, it was swelling up and it was red. And then my dad was like, well, we'll just get it checked out. And when we went to the doctor, they had told me, well, luckily it was no fractures. I didn't break it, but it ended up being a grade 2 sprain. Like I tore.
All right, so the hand's not broken. The hand's not broken. They classified it as a grade 2 sprain. So let's look exactly into what a grade 2 sprain is. Let's see. It says a grade 2 hand sprain is a moderate sprain where ligaments are partially torn, causing significant pain, swelling, and bruising. Treatment involves the Rice method: rest, ice, compression, elevation, immobilization with the splint or brace, and a gradual return to activity with physical rehabilitation. Recovery typically takes 3 to 6 weeks. So it wasn't the lightest injury, but it also wasn't the heaviest injury. You know what I'm saying? So grade 2 is like you pretty much in the middle with it. Like they said, moderate sprain. So not a severe sprain, but it's also not a light sprain. So that's what the doctors classified at as. So let's continue.
Torn some ligaments in there, whatnot. So
when you talk to the doctor, is it a situation where, you know, he's basically recommending to you, nah, you probably need to pull out of this fight, or ultimately is that a decision that you guys have to make yourself?
No, I made the decision myself because the doctor told me it's going to take 3 to 6 weeks to heal. And so, you know, everybody, injected this. No, but he's a young man growing into his grown man body, and he hits very hard. So I had to make that decision. We're in line for the world title. And then the contender on the IBF. Do I send him in there with one hand? Do I think he will beat JoJo still? Yes. But do you risk that damaging that hand where now, you know, it's just too much a risk to put him in there with one hand? That, as a businessman, that would be the dumbest thing to do.
So that's what Floyd Schofield's father is saying. He says that he's the one who made the call in terms of, you know, throwing the fight away. And he says that he feels like his son could still beat JoJo Diaz regardless of whether he was injured or not. My whole thing is there's no point in you saying that. You know what I'm saying? With you pulling your son out of the fight because of the injury, you have doubts. You have doubts. So you can sit here and say, you know, like he could beat JoJo with one hand. That sound good, but if you genuinely felt like that, you wouldn't have pulled out of the fight point blank, period. Like you wouldn't have. You feel what I'm saying? If you pulling out, that's because you feel like it's a very risky move, which he just admitted. So it's like 2 contradictory statements. I don't know if y'all let me know if I'm tripping. On one hand, you saying, we would have beat him with the one hand. But then you saying it's a risky move. You know what I'm saying? Like we on the cusp of fighting for a world title. Like we like pretty much like we're not gonna take that chance of fighting with one hand. So you're saying that you could beat him with one hand, like you could beat him regardless, but then you're saying it's risky. It's like, so are y'all confident in y'all abilities of beating this dude with the one hand or not? The reality is you aren't, because you pulled him out of the fight. You feel what I'm saying? Let's just keep it 1,000. Like if I feel like my fighter has an injury that I feel like he would be in a bad situation if he were to fight. I'm pulling him out. It's a smart move, but I'm not going to sit around and be like, oh, well, even though, my fighter sprained his wrist, he would have beat him anyway. But it's like, I'm going to look stupid because it's like, all right, if you felt like that, then go let him get his victory. Go let him get his money. No, well, we about to fight. We about to fight in the national soon, so it don't really make sense to, then you start talking business. It's like you playing both sides of the fence, brother. You contradicting yourself. I don't understand that. Yeah, like you pretty much saying, no, there's a likelihood that we might fuck up the money if we go into this fight with JoJo Diaz injured. And then on the other hand, you're saying, oh, we would have beat JoJo Diaz regardless. Should make zero sense. So that's what I take from that little statement that he put together.
So I have to listen to the doctor. Then I called Michael Miller, my advisor, called Oscar, and everybody like, yo, he's a growing young boy that hit very hard. Sit this one out. And so after everybody,
why he keep emphasizing that? He's becoming a grown man and he's really hard. Like, okay, what the fuck that got to do with y'all pulling out of a fight with a hand injury? I don't really understand that. But let me actually I seen that Golden Boy had actually put up a post regarding, this situation. Yeah, there we go. So Golden Boy put out a statement. I'm gonna read that after the fact, but let's continue on because I ain't trying to hold up nobody. Let's keep it going. R3 said, I don't know why he said that. Just say we don't want to take the risk of losing. Facts. Agent 86 said you just pulled out though. Right. So it's like, why you even took the time to say that y'all would beat him regardless? Should have just fought him then. If you felt like that, if he was such easy work. Like, okay, cool.
he told me, then I got to let go of my ego because he wanted to still fight.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. Yesterday I was telling my dad, I still got my left hand. My dad was like, you cannot be thinking like that. Like,
Right, you got to think business. So what? We giving up a mid 6-figure check. I mean, anybody would be like, damn, you're giving away a lot of money. But my son is more valuable than money. So I got to listen to his doctors. I got 2 advices from 2 doctors, MRIs, everything else. And both of them like, yo, he have a tear. You take him out of this fight. So
Yeah.
that's what's happening. So fans going to say what they want. It's on them. I put all the proof out there. I can't do nothing. I feel God protected JoJo. I swear to goodness, JoJo is really spiritual, and I think God intervened and allowed.
How you know JoJo's spiritual and how you just found a way? Like you pulled out of the fight. Like nobody pulled you out of the fight except yourself. You know what I mean? Like ain't nobody forced you to pull your son out of the fight. You took that into your hands voluntarily. Nobody forced you to do that. You voluntarily pulled your son out, but then you talking about how God saving JoJo. No, nigga, it sound like you the one who playing God's role. And if anybody playing the role of God, is you, because you're the one who's taking your son out of the predicament. Fuck you mean God saving JoJo? Nigga, God ain't doing a motherfucking thing. That was you. You pulled your son out of the fight. Ain't nothing happened to JoJo. JoJo was ready to rumble. JoJo's very spiritual. Nigga, how you know? Was you praying with the nigga? Like, what the fuck is we even talking about? This dude right here, bro, he's very hard to like, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Like, he's like a fucking clown. You know what I mean? And he's a solid father. So shout out to Schofield. I love what he do for his son. I got a son just like him. And the way he supports his son is a beautiful thing. But it's like at the same time, it's like you just be doing a whole lot of that nigga. He do a whole lot of bluffing. He do a whole lot of bluffing. You could tell his mouth pause is like his first line of defense. You know what I mean? He like to talk his shit, but I don't know. It's just the way that he be. And I seen niggas pressing him in person, and he just be real polite and shit like that. So like he a pump figure for sure. Very, very scary individual.
JoJo to have a safe passage onto his next fight. That's what I think. Cause kid been in so many fights and never tore nothing in his wrist ever.
I work out my hands too.
Right.
In my rice.
Mm-hmm.
So I say for that to be that much of a freak accident, God just helped JoJo. And that's because I'm on a spiritual basis. Everybody else could say what they want, but JoJo got a free pass. He's gonna have a great fight. against somebody else, and I hope we can fight him in February. But I think they got us fighting for a title in February. But I don't know.
Don't nobody want to see that fight get pushed back. We ain't want to see the fight in the first place. So we definitely don't want to see y'all motherfuckers reschedule the fight in February. Why don't you go fight somebody credible? Fight some, you know, no disrespect to JoJo Diaz. He a former world champion, but it's like, bro, he clearly not who he was when he beat Tevin Farmer. You know what I mean? He's not who he was when he fought Gary Russell. Like, that's not the JoJo Diaz that we see anymore. You clearly fighting somebody who, you know, is at the, you know, the bottom, you know, the bottom half of his career, you know what I mean? Clearly on the decline. Y'all see that. And y'all doing some smart matchmaking, you know what I mean? Under advice with Golden Boy and shit like that. Like, y'all building y'all names off of, you know, washed up, you know, fighters. You know what I'm saying? Like, fighters who, you know, had a name at one point in time, got recognizable names amongst the hardcore boxer fans. So you looking to, you know, get them guys in the ring. So, you know, because you're youthful, you know what I mean? You strong, you athletic, you got more in the tank than them. So you're able to outlast these dudes, but you're able to get some rounds in and, you know, help, you know, and it'll help you develop as a professional. I get what you're doing. It just blows my high. Like, it just be fucking my head up when you popping all this shit about your son being the greatest of all time and how, you know what I mean, ain't none of these dudes on his level, and you saying how this person don't want to fight your son and this person don't want to fight your son, but you always seem to take this. You always seem to find a way to get your son up out of fights, bro. The Cardenas, what up? Rouse said nobody was calling for Schofield versus JoJo. Move on from that shit when he healed. Facts. Like, just go ahead and get you. Since y'all motherfuckers so big and bad, bro. Since y'all motherfuckers so big and bad, leave JoJo alone. Leave JoJo alone. Y'all said y'all ranked in the IBF. Andy Cruz, Raymond Mortai look like they ain't about to rumble for that. You can go face the winner of Mortai versus Andy Cruz. If Andy Cruz win, I would love to see Floyd Schofield fight Andy Cruz. You praying what they? I'm gonna tell you what they're really praying for. They are praying for Gervonta Davis to vacate that WBA title, y'all. That's what they waiting for. Let me see the WBA rankings. That's what they waiting for. They want Tank to vacate that belt so they can go ahead and fight for the vacant title. And depending on who they go up against, they might just win that shit. Most likely it'll be like Floyd Schofield versus Lucas Body. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what it's looking like. You feel me? So I think he would rather take that chance with Lucas in comparison to fighting Andy Cruz. You feel me? I wouldn't mind the Lucas Body fight either, and I think they actually mentioned that fight here on this interview. So let's keep it going.
Have you? I mean, you mentioned you talked to Oscar, and I assume you know JoJo has been informed of the whole situation. Have they officially talked to you guys about what's going to happen? I mean, is he going to continue with the fight? Is your fight with him going to be rescheduled, or is that just up in the air right now?
It's gonna be rescheduled. I know it's gonna be rescheduled.
I want that fight still.
And it's not our fault. It's not our fault technically. He's injured.
Right.
So it don't fall on us. It just they gotta find JoJo another opponent that's in shape, willing to fight JoJo within 2 weeks. And JoJo was the first person I messaged and asked him for the opportunity and sent him the proof because he worked hard for this fight. So you know, he was the first person I had to approach before I went to Oscar or anybody. I went to JoJo and told him I hope we could meet in February or March.
Oh, we can't just win it. He win his fight in 2 weeks. We can meet in February.
Right.
I'm still be in the gym. I was actually running with my arm like this, all stiff. And that's when Dad took me off the treadmill and told me like he's not gonna allow it. So I was like, damn.
Right. That's actually kind of cool that you guys contacted JoJo first. Usually the fighter is the last one to find out. So that was actually pretty stand up of you guys. So obviously, I mean, when you hear news like this, you know, the smart thing, like you said, Senior, business wise, the smart thing to do is to just kind of say, you know what, let's hold off on this and wait. But obviously, as far as PR is concerned, right? it's going to be the second fight that you guys had to pull out of, and I'm sure your biggest fans, your critics, right? They're going to have a lot to say about here we go again. So how difficult was it to make that decision, knowing that, you know what, we're going to catch a little bit of backlash for this?
The critics gonna say what they want, but the first fight, the Shakur fight, we didn't pull out of that. The British Board of Commissions pulled us out of the fight and took our license. They would not allow us to fight. People Google that the British Board of Commissions pulled the Schofields out of the fight.
Good point.
He did not pull out of the fight. This is the first fight. No, he broke his rib in one fight when he was supposed to fight Ashton.
I had a torsion too in my testicles. I had to get surgery on my testicles.
Like, he's a growing kid that hit very hard. So
What? Let's move on.
What can you say? All you can say is God, you know, they're gonna say what they're gonna say, but God have a way of showing it in the next fight. In the next fight, they'll say something totally different after we get out the ring in the next fight. So it is what it is. It's like a wave. That's life. It's gonna be a wave, ups and downs, and we prepared for it. But we did everything we had to do as men. We went to our business partners, told them we can't do it. We asked their advice. They said, don't do it. We went to JoJo, said we can't do it. We went to everybody that's involved, and we are postponing it. We're going to fight JoJo. We are postponing our part of it. That's all that's happening.
Yeah. I got to ask you, you seem like, I don't want to say you're okay with it. That's not really the phrase I'm looking for, but you seem like you accept that these things happen in boxing and the sport. But is it frustrating at the same time? Is it frustrating to know, oh man, here comes another hiccup, when I'm sure you guys are ready to, you know, get onto the bigger stage, to get the bigger fights, to get the bigger names. So just having this happen, I mean, like I said, you guys look like you're okay with it, but at the same time, is it frustrating?
No, because God is the grand architect. We're not in control of nothing. We're not even in control of our breathing. God is in control of every aspect of what's happening. And if God said, y'all not sit this one out, because we still in line for the world title. That's the thing, people. We don't have to fight JoJo. We're number one in line for the world title.
Right. Y'all don't need to fight JoJo, but you're hell bent on postponing the fight with JoJo. If you genuinely feel like you don't need the JoJo Diaz fight, why take it? Why take it? If y'all on the cusp of fighting for a world title, why fight JoJo Diaz? Why be hell bent on facing JoJo Diaz after pulling out with an injury when you clearly don't need to fight him? And as you know, saying that this was in God's hand, bro, you took it upon yourself to pull your son out of the fight. Didn't nobody stop that shit from happening but you. Stop saying that this was, we can't, it's all in God's hands. And, I understand that from a perspective, because I say it all the time. I'm like, bro, the shit that I'm going to go through in life is already written. I'm just living through it. A page a day or a chapter a day, whatever you want to call it. You feel what I'm saying? This shit's already written. It's just, I'm just going through the motions and letting God put me in position to be whatever I'm going to be in life, right? So I understand that. But the choice was made by you. The choice was made by you, brother. So let's cut this shit out.
So in February, we be fighting for the world title anyway. JoJo was just a tune-up for us. That's all that was. And then we the number one contender after.
Where is these boxer fans that was, criticizing Boots for fighting a top 10 guy? But this motherfucker is openly out here, who's a top contender in the WBA, openly stating that that JoJo is just a tune-up. If JoJo's just a tune-up, why do you want to continue to fight this man? Hold on, I actually wanted to see. I heard something. Let me see.
The world title. So in February, we fighting for the world title anyway. JoJo was just
In February, you fighting for the world title anyway. But just a few minutes ago, you just said that y'all were looking to fight JoJo Diaz in February or March. Did he not just say that? Are you fighting JoJo for the world title? I'm confused. What are you talking about? The nigga just said a few minutes ago that he would like to fight, if JoJo Diaz wins his fight, that he'll be willing to fight him in February or March. It was either February or March. I forgot which one it is. But now you're saying you're going to fight for a world title in February. Which one is it? So let me get this straight. Y'all gotta what's that shit called? A level 2 sprain on your hand that takes 4 to 6 weeks to recover from. So within a month to a month and a half, you'll be back in training, right? All right, cool. So JoJo Diaz, most likely he's gonna get another opponent. He's gonna fight. Most likely after the fact, JoJo Diaz ain't gonna rumble till 2026. And I think it's safe to say that Schofield's probably not gonna rumble until 2026, right? Cool. So you saying that you still want to run it with JoJo Diaz in February, March. Cool. But you say you about to fight for a world title in February. Are you about to fight JoJo Diaz since he a tune-up and fight for your world title in the same month? Let me know. Let me know if that's what you're doing, because that'd be some historical shit. So he lying about something. It's either you rematch or you either postponing that JoJo Diaz fight in February or you fighting for the world title in February. Which one is it? Because as far as I'm concerned, JoJo Diaz ain't no fucking world champion. You just called him a tune-up.
the tune-up for us. That's all that was. And then we the number 1 contender after Cruz and Mortaia fight for that world title. So we're in position for 2 world titles. God said, sit down, y'all, and let JoJo do what he need to do. So God architect that. So to us, we said we had no control over it. What can you do? Argue with God? You know?
It's different. Yeah, I was frustrated. But when they told me, like my dad was saying, I'm in line for the title, and I'm 23, why risk going in a fight and I could damage my hand even more? Probably tear some more ligaments, make it worse. And then you don't get to fight that title for the title when it's vacant or whatever. So I was like, you know what? That's true.
Yeah.
Especially when it's
You gotta be a good to the young boxers, the ones that's like us, we contractors, we work for ourselves. Your investment is your hands. You gotta take care of your hands. You gotta look out for your body because you want to give your fans 100%. You don't want to go in the ring giving your fans 50%. We not those type of people. We want to deliver what the fans pay for. They worked hard for their money. So just make sure y'all take care of your hands if y'all a contractor.
Fans work hard for their money, but you want to give them tune-up fights. But fans work hard for their money. We love the fact that you guys work hard for your money. We want to give y'all a show, so we're gonna give y'all a tune-up. But we don't want to fight this tune-up at 50% because we don't need to fight JoJo Diaz. We could fight for a world title next. Well, why don't you do what the fans want you to do? And that's just fight for the world title. I think they'll be more appreciative of you and your son if y'all fought for a world title instead of fighting JoJo Diaz. They work hard for their money, right? Okay, so because they work so hard for their money, they looking to get quality out of their money. JoJo Diaz's fight is not a quality fight. It's not. It's not. And I think this goofy was just saying how that T.O. and Shakur Stevenson is a trash fight. Nigga, how? The fight that y'all niggas was just about to take was trash. Ain't nobody give a fuck to see that. Everybody give a fuck to see T.O. versus Shakur, and I don't even like T.O. What is we talking about? How is that a trash fight? But you over here giving us bullshit product. You can't be throwing rocks from a fucking glass house, my nigga. If you're gonna be talking about niggas fights is trash, you better make sure that the fight that your son taking is fire. It's not. That shit doo-doo. Bella Faith in here speaking facts. She said, coming off a Tevin Former first round knockout, he can make a big fight right now. Exactly. But what you do, you settle for JoJo Diaz. That just let me know that they talking a big talk. They talking a big talk, but it's somebody over there, and it might be the father because don't nobody know their son more than their father, right? Typically. He probably don't believe in his son how the way he, behind closed doors, he don't believe in his son how the way, he seems to believe him in front of these cameras. I mean, because if you genuinely felt like your son was built like that and, these motherfuckers, he's the standard and, he's going to be the greatest of all time, he should be fighting for a world title right now. How Abdullah Mason passed y'all up? Ain't y'all niggas like Abdullah about to fight for a world title? That's a motherfucker who believe in himself. He ain't doing no talking. He ain't talking about he the greatest of all time. He about to do some legacy defining shit. November 22nd. Y'all niggas waiting for a belt to vacate. He over here trying to get one. He trying to beat the other top guy in the sanctioning body for it. Sam Noakes. That's a dangerous fight. Where's your Sam Noakes? Lucas Body? What's going on with that? All right, let's keep it going.
That's how you feed your family. And if you're 23 years old, you got at least another 10 years. So you could pass on a fight, especially we fight 4 times a year. Right. We're going to fight again in 3 months. So it's like, what's the big deal? But young fighters, take care of your hands. Don't let people pressure you. Because if they pressure you and you damage your hands even more where you can't fight no more, the fans move on to the next person. You're just a moment in their life, just a moment. So just remember that and take care of your hands. Don't be pressured to what people say.
That's how you make money. You need your money makers.
Yeah, true. That's true. That's true. Kid, let me ask you real quick, just because you did go through. I mean, how many weeks were you in camp now?
About like 13. Would have been going on 14 this week because I was training before. If you go on my Instagram, y'all can see I was training even before I found out who my opponent was.
Because they kept pushing it back.
They kept pushing the fight.
Right.
They backed that offered the fight to Lucas Body. He turned it down. Then there was a negotiation with Muay Thai. He asked too much for the budget of the zone at this point. So it was like we was working trying to get these fights. We was in camp, but they kept switching dates. Then they finally got JoJo to say but then this happened.
Yeah. Well, Kid, like I was saying, let me ask you real quick. I know this situation doesn't happen on, the regular or anything like that.
Well, he's saying Lucas Body ducked. Is that possible? Yeah, I guess. But I don't know. It's like you're saying Lucas Body said no to fighting you, but you possibly going to fight for a vacant WBA title. Who you think that's going to be against? You think Lucas going to turn that down? I don't know. It's interesting.
But having gone through a 13, 14 week camp and, you were basically about to hit peak week, I'm assuming. So you have all this energy, this pent up energy through camp that you were ready to unleash onto JoJo. What do you do now to kind of, put that energy someplace else? Like, do you continue to train? I mean, you already said you were still trying to run with your messed up hand. So what do you do for the next 3 to 6 weeks? Do you just chill? Go on vacation?
Sit behind down.
Yeah, they said
sit down before we get in camp for February fight. We fight in February.
They told me I can't use my dad and
I believe it's Lucas Body in February.
Okay.
If we take it this time. If it's not, it's gonna be for the world title if Tank come back down.
I want my belt
because we the mandatory. So we got to see what Tank gonna do after his fight, if he's gonna come back down or he's gonna vacate it. So it's either him or Lucas Body. So he's gonna rest. Then we're gonna get back in camp and get ready for that fight.
I can't masturbate if I wanted to.
What is that?
Because I'm wrong.
With
The fuck is going on? This was like niggas talking about testicles and masturbating, and you in front of your pops, nigga. Type weird shit y'all niggas got going on. Like, what the fuck, nigga? Like, look, I don't even care to really continue going on with this shit, bro. You know what I mean? This motherfucker talking about getting surgery on his balls, complaining he can't, beat his meat because he got a cast on his right hand. Super weird. And your pop's laughing like he you know what I mean? I don't know. Y'all niggas super weird. So we're gonna go ahead and close this one out. Cause I ain't even watching it in its entirety, but I don't even want to know where that shit gonna go. You feel me? It's like, you know what I mean, 2 strikes and you out with a motherfucker like me, cuz. You know what I mean? Like, no. Like, no. It's like, yeah, but the whole time it'd be like, the fuck no. So here's Golden Boy's statements. Here's Golden Boy's statement about Floyd Schofield pulling out of the JoJo Diaz fight, and it follows. On Thursday, October 23rd, Floyd Schofield Jr. sustained a grade 2 sprain to his right wrist. So it's not his, I guess it's not his hand, it's his wrist. Well, I guess your wrist is a part of your hand, whatever. Following medical evaluation and on advice of the team, Schofield has been forced to withdraw from his scheduled bout against Joseph JoJo Diaz on November 8th. Golden Boy wishes him a full and speedy recovery. In the caption, it says, well, what I'm paying attention to is minor ligament damage. A grade 2 sprain to his right wrist, which included minor ligament damage. Why would they feel the need to add the fact that it was minor ligament damage? If it's minor ligament damage, then why was the fight stopped? Like, why did they take it upon themselves to cancel the fight? Why did Floyd Schofield Sr. feel the need to pull out of the fight if it's just a minor ligament damage? If it's minor ligament damage, why feel the need to just throw the whole fight away? So my boy the stranger says, so what's your verdict? The father, he definitely being scary. He's definitely being scary. And I'm gonna tell you why. First of all, it wasn't a break. It wasn't a break. Let me see how much time they got. They got about, what you got, like 2 weeks? Got about 2 weeks, probably less than 2 weeks until they fight. Man, that could, me personally, that could have been, a cortisone shot, and you good to go. And then y'all could worry about, hand surgery or healing the hand after the fact. You got a grade 2 sprain. They said mid 6 figures, so you already know that's 500,000 plus, right? Minor ligament damage. Nigga, Joe Calzaghe was breaking his hands in camp. Joe Calzaghe was breaking his hands in camp and still rumbled Jeff Lacey and beat him. You know what I mean? You know why? Because Calzaghe's father, Enzo, believed in him. So they did it. Be more like Enzo and less like Auntie Scope is what I'm basically trying to say. You feel what I mean? Yeah, I don't know. I feel like a cortisone shot would have been a good alternative. They have the resources to make that shit happen. They probably have something better to make sure you're not feeling the pain at all. He beat the dog shit out of Jeff Lacey. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. So I see people like that are capable of doing it. You know, I've seen people perform under worse circumstances and still get the job done. So it's like I see I see what Auntie Skull was trying to say. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we on the cusp of fighting for a world title. You know what I'm saying? We could get that world title shot in February. That's what it's looking like. So, you know, we don't want to go into a tune-up at 50%. But what makes y'all scary is the fact that you're openly admitting that you're taking the tune-up when, you know, you could clearly just avoid that and just go straight into, you know, a top fight. You say you have two options. You say you go to IBF route, you go to WBA route. Tank might vacate his belt after the Jake Paul situation because he talking about he retiring after that fight, after that exhibition, whatever you want to call it. Why not just, you know, leave JoJo Diaz the fuck alone, weigh your options, and choose what route you're going to go? Because you're not going to be able to come back till January anyway. That's what they're saying. Why not just? I don't know, bro. They very they sound scary to me. It's a lot of contradictions going around as well. Saying y'all postponing the fight to fight JoJo Diaz. You're gonna fight JoJo Diaz in February, but then you fighting for a world title in February. It's like, hey, bro, we don't know what the fuck these niggas is on. We don't know what they doing. You know what I mean? You know, his father's a habitual liar. A habitual liar. Very, very deluded old head, in my opinion. You feel what I mean? So his best fights he pulls out and has excuses. Right. He's well, we didn't pull out of the Shakur Stevenson fight. You know, the British Boxing Board of Control pulled us out. Yeah, the British Boxing Board of Control, pulled y'all out after y'all put on this little episode like y'all was unable to compete. You feel what I mean? You say your son got poisoned, they poisoned your son. Yeah, that sound good. But then you also said that, you know, motherfuckers broke into your house and ripped the signature page out of your passport book. He was talking about how y'all was glad that y'all didn't go to the awards anyway because y'all was probably being set up, and you know what I mean. It's just like you could just feel the nervous energy on Auntie Skull, the insecurities on him. You know, not being too sure of his son. You know what I mean? He got his son to a certain point in his career, you know, where they making good money, you know, in line for a title shot, and he not trying to lose that situation. He not trying to fuck up that bag. He not trying to fuck up that opportunity. So he's taking the least amount of risk possible until he gets that world title opportunity. And even then, I think that his first title opportunity probably going to be the easiest option. You know, he's saying that he's going to take the IBF route. You know what I mean? Then there's the WBA route, right? Would you rather fight for a vacant WBA title against Lucas Body? Or would you face the winner of Mordecai and Andy Cruz? And if Andy Cruz comes out victorious, you know what I mean, you had to face Andy Cruz. Does Schofield really want to do that? Does he really want to do that? I don't know. David Benavidez fought Vosdick with an injured hand and a cut above his eye. Facts. He said your pop would have put you through a wall. It's like, come on, bro. Baby and his son. Don't believe in him at all. He put a lot of money into his son. He trying to make that money back. That's all that is. So he ain't about to, you know, have him fight JoJo Diaz and get the money fucked up before the title shot come. Nope. I'm going to tell you this, Auntie. If you banking on your son being 100% for every fight that he has, especially a high-level fight, you're going to be pulling your son out all the time. Because if y'all training hard and y'all training for 10 to 12 rounds, bro. Injuries are gonna happen, bro. There's only so much your body could take before, it starts to feel banged up. So I'm gonna just say that. Shout out to everybody that's in the building, man. I don't want to talk about this too much longer, man. I'm gonna answer a couple questions and I'm gonna get up out of here because I'm gonna get I gotta get up super early for work tomorrow, man. They be having me coming in early to do these new trainings and shit like that. So I'm gonna do like 10 minutes worth of questions, and after that, man, I'm gonna get up out of here. I appreciate everybody that came through and showed love. Shout out to the 37 people that's in the building. Let me see where the likes is at. What we got? 18 likes. That's it. 37 people with 17 likes. Oh my God. The hate is real. Motherfuckers really don't like me, man. That's crazy. Y'all watch me all the time, but y'all will not hit the like button. That's weird. Super weird, but it is what it is. Not everybody gonna like you. You don't even like everybody. So what? Why you going out your way to why would you go out your way to try to like everybody? Why would you go out of your way to be, damn, that's how you know I'm tired as a bitch. I can't even formulate my words. Why would you be upset that everybody don't like you? Because you don't even like everybody. You feel me? That's what I was trying to say. There's some real soldiers sometimes. Yeah, Shakur had hand problems going into the Edwin De Los Santos fight. That was a very underwhelming performance, but he still fought and did what he needed to do to get the victory. I'm trying to tell you, bro, it's like these niggas now, and what he doing is he's babying his son. You know what I mean? He definitely babying his son. Like, I watched Andre Ward. You know what I mean? He couldn't do road work in the first Kovalev fight. You know what I mean? He had like a knee injury, I believe. He had like fluid in his knee, so he couldn't run. So, but he still did what he needed to do. Controversial fight, but he was able to pull off the W. These things happen, bro. Floyd fought his whole career with hand sprains and, torn ligaments in his hands. And, you know what I mean? He got his motherfucking cortisone shots and he went and he rumbled. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, why couldn't your son do that? Why is he exempt of, going that route? R3 says, do you think Fabio deserves to fight Usyk coming off of that TKO win over Joseph Parker? Absolutely. Absolutely. Why wouldn't he? You know what I mean? I feel like that's more of the I think the bigger question is why wouldn't he? You feel what I'm saying? Ralph, he had a torn rotator cuff in the Castillo one fight. Might have hurt his hand too, but he had a torn rotator cuff. But Fabio beat the number one contender in the division. There was nobody prior to Fabio Wardley defeating Joseph Parker that was more worthy of a shot at Usyk than Joseph Parker. You know what I'm saying? Like, he beat the Deontay Wilders. You know what I mean? He beat the Julie Zangs. He beat the Martin Bacolis. You see what I'm saying? And he was going to fight Daniel Dubois, but Daniel Dubois had to pull out. You feel what I mean? He was taking challenge after challenge after challenge, and he was coming out victorious. He beat the people that was in front of him. He beat some credible names. And, Usyk was cleaning up the heavyweight division. The only one he had left was Joseph Parker. Joseph Parker decided to fight Fabio Wardley, I guess, to stay active and solidify his spot as a top contender, and Fabio upset him, was able to get the stoppage. So if you beat the number one guy in a division that's in line for a title, you replace him. You replace him. So, yeah, Fabio deserves to fight with Usyk because he beat the guy who was next in line to face Usyk. So because he was able to, get that done, yeah, he's deserving of that Usyk opportunity, man. And Fabio is also mandatory in 2 sanctioning bodies. All right, so he got, based off of what you're saying, R3, seemed like he got Usyk, stuck against a corner right now. That's what it sounded like to me. Sound like he gonna give Usyk no choice but to fight. So some good shit going on. Some good shit going on for Fabio. Fabio versus Usyk. It's gonna be a good one. What's gonna make it good, in all honesty, is you already know what type time Usyk gonna be on. He gonna be smooth, calculated, polished, good speed, good combinations, good footwork. The in and out movements, all that, the feints. He gonna be putting all his tools out there. And Fabio, you know what I mean? He has some deficiencies in his game for sure. He definitely got some holes in his defense and all types of stuff. But he's a dog. He's durable. He don't take no for an answer. Very, very stubborn individual in that ring. So Usyk is gonna have to, take his time. You know what I mean? Not get too greedy in exchanges and shit like that, and go about things in a smart manner. What type of chances do I give Fabio against Usyk? I mean, he definitely got a puncher's chance. You feel what I mean? Like, Fabio does have that type of power, and if Usyk, gets a little careless in there, he could run into a big shot for Fabio, and it could change the course of the fight. But I hold Usyk to a very high standard. He's actually pound for pound number 2, on my list as of today. And, prior to Bud beating Canelo, I had him number 1. You feel what I'm saying? So Usyk, very, very intelligent fighter, very gifted fighter overall in terms of his athleticism, superb timing, great conditioning, durable in his own right. His ability to adapt is very impressive as well. He always figures out a way to, neutralize his opponent and dominate. So Usyk is a special type of fighter, bro. I don't think Fabio comes out on top of that one. I don't. I know I doubted Fabio in the previous fight with Joseph Parker, but Joseph Parker ain't no Alexander Usyk. So this is going to be a totally different ball game. Fabio got to be locked in. And I ain't going to lie, Fabio taking that fight with Usyk after beating Joseph Parker and Usyk back-to-back, the 2 top guys in the division at one point in time, that's very commendable. That's respectable. I fuck with that. I like the fact that, he's going to be, he's willing to roll the dice. Coffee Plant said he's getting the Usyk fight. I mean, it's not solidified yet, but, I'm thinking that Usyk was going to give Joseph Parker an opportunity, because Turkey Al-Sheikh snake ass was running around here talking about Moses Atama versus Usyk. And, Usyk, like, we not doing that. You feel what I'm saying? So if he's not going to do the Moses Atama fight, what is the most in-demand fight? What was the most in-demand fight, prior to the loss to Fabio with Usyk? It was Joseph Parker. Joseph Parker was the most demanding guy to face Alexander Usyk for his undisputed titles prior to Fabio Worley beating him. Now that Fabio beat him, that's the fight that we need to see. The man who upset Joseph Parker against Usyk. It's exactly what we need to see. Fabio definitely got a puncher's chance, though. R3. What percentage? I'm going to say probably like, I don't want to come across disrespectful, but at the same time, it's like, I feel like 60-40 will be too close. You feel me? That's just 10 away from a 50-50. So if you do 60-40, I mean, Usyk got a slight advantage. I think Usyk has a variety of advantages that's going to play in his favor in that fight. I'm thinking it's 70-30 Usyk. For real, for real. Corey Player said it's like 90-10. That's hilarious. 70-30 because it's heavyweights. Anonymous says 75-25. Sheesh. I'm gonna tell y'all what, because I got a lot of respect for Fabio after that fight. He definitely a gangster. He walked through fire for that victory, cuz like he had to go through some shit to get that end result. But I'll tell you what, this motherfucker Fabio finds a way to beat Usyk, bro. The UK gonna have another heavyweight star overnight. This motherfucker Fabio beats the legend, the greatest heavyweight of his era. And Alexander Usyk, if Fabio Wardley beats Usyk, that's gonna be definitely and I don't give a fuck if it happens at the top of 2026. That shit could happen on January 1st. That's gonna be the upset of the year. Anonymous said it's just Parker was hitting him with hella counters. I think once Usyk picks up his timing and exploits those openings, it's a wrap. Yeah. Once Usyk gets a feeling for your defensive flaws, he gonna start putting them together and really start nailing you with shots. Pause. So that's gonna be a lot for Fabio to deal with. You know, Fabio is durable, but everybody, I don't care who you are, how tough you are, how you can have the most granite chin in the world. You know, accumulation is a real thing. You know, accumulation can really break you up, beat you into submission. You feel what I mean? So I think Usyk could definitely light Fabio up with some good combinations, break him down, stop him late. But the experience level is different. The IQ is different. And Fabio's going to see that for sure. If they fight. Who knows? Who knows what Usyk's next fight is? Usyk catches dudes with sneaky shit they don't see. Facts. Especially when he loops that hook. It comes from an angle that a lot of people not accustomed to seeing. And when he catches them, they do damage. But I'm going to get up out of here, y'all. I know this was a short live, but like I said, I got to get up early to go take care of some things. I'll be back at y'all at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to continue cooking up what's going on in the boxing world, man. If you appreciate the short live, y'all go ahead and hit the likes, man. Y'all subscribe to the channel. Like I said, we on the road to 4K. We well into the 3,200 mark. About to hit that 3,300 mark in due time. Shout out to the nation and the mob for making this possible. Hopefully there's some big boxing news that comes out tomorrow to start the week so we can have more to cook up on, man. But until then, I hope you guys have a blessed, beautiful one. I'm up out of here, man. Peace.